And we're back with some more oxygen not included on Rime. And on this Christmas season, I have decided that we're going to finish off this rocket silo, but I've decided to give it a new name, just in honor of Christmas. I realized that there's like how's Santa Claus supposed to visit all my poor duplicants? Like how are they supposed to get their presents? So I've decided to rename this into a rocket chimney. That way, Santa Claus has something to climb down. True, it will be a rather hot chimney, but he's Santa Claus. I'm sure he'll manage it. Like theoretically. Anyway, what we're doing at the moment is I'm going to have to start fueling up the rocket, so I'm diverting my hydrogen down here. I've got plenty of excess hydrogen I'm going to deploy from up here to fuel my other rocketry program. We'll just have to where is it? We'll just have to turn this on over here. We've been using this as our emergency backup supply of hydrogen for a long time. Plus, it's getting kind of toasty up here. Turns out having all these hot steam vents just venting out into the surrounding atmosphere, eventually it kind of toasts the place up. I should really stick tamers on those. But no, not today. Today, we are doing a rocket chimney, and we are going to heat this sucker up so Santa Claus has something warm to crawl down and deliver presents to all our duplicants. Anyway, first up, we're going to get this running. This is my, third time to fire up one of these. We've gotten it down to almost a fine art at this point on this map. This goes in here. This is going to be our cooling loop that cools the steam turbine, but at the same time, it also provides the gas pressure. So it's going to give 2 kilos of gas pressure in here. So we have a nice breathable hydrogen atmosphere, or nice hydrogen atmosphere in there to transfer the temperature. Once that loop is filled, which shouldn't take too long. Oh, and then this oxygen comes down here. This oxygen is going to be pressurized in this room, and this is where all the cooling is going to go on. Oh, that reminds me, I should get some supercoolant over here, shouldn't I? Yeah, that should only take a minute or two. We'll just stick some supercoolant in this hole here. Right, we've got ourselves our pool of supercoolant. It should be fairly quick. All we do is we dump a bunch of supercoolant on over here to this line. Oh, and we're going to have to put some on there as well. I've already got the temperature set up on these. 190 for the oxygen and minus 256 for the hydrogen. I might want to start at actually 255 and then put it down a notch afterwards, just to make sure it's nice and chill. And that should be it. Oh, we're going to need more supercoolant, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to need a little bit more supercoolant. Okay, just one more batch of supercoolant. There we go. That should get rid of a lot of it. Is everything good? Okay, that loop should fill up once it passes this point again. Boom, we've got 2 fully saturated loops. And that should slowly start cooling those down so we can start filling this sucker up. Which reminds me, I need to set the fuel temps on this. Yes, that would be a good idea. 166 kilos. Now this I'm pulling off the rocket calculator. You may be wondering, I'm only using this rocket for gaining steam and heat. All we want to do is generate lots of power out of this and get water out of it. Hopefully recycle all the water. However, I am sending 1 cargo module. The reason being, it costs me about 17% more fuel, or about 26 or 20 kilos or something. It's 20 kilos more fuel or something like that just to send the cargo module. So it's not really that big of a deal. 17 or 18% more fuel cost just to get this done. I can live with that. Oh, I accidentally put in more supercoolant, didn't I? Never mind. But yeah, I can live with the extra fuel costs, even though it only costs me a tiny amount, because, well, we'll get a little bit of cargo out of it. And I mean, it's Christmas. Come on, we might as well get as much cargo out of space as we possibly can. While all of this has been going on, I have been steadily vacuuming out this area. Ooh, actually, it's got a vacuum down here already. That's sort of impressive. Oh, not all the way. Let's see how much gas we got left. So there's actually gas pressure. We've got a complete perfect vacuum below here, which, yeah, that's kind of nice. Then as we go up, we get a little bit more gas pressure as we go along. We're slowly but surely, though, taking this all out. I should maybe open up the top of this. I was trying to make sure I saved all the hydrogen, but I think we're down to MCG at this point. Though if I open that up, I'm probably going to end up with more gas trapped in here. No, I think we can delete some of these tiles and help speed up this vacuuming. I mean, I want all this chamber completely empty so we can just cram it full of steam, and then I'm going to make sure that we seal it up and have nothing but steam in here. A little bit of a removal of some of those backing plates so we can get some vacuum power getting in on this. We should hopefully be able to not let that fill the whole top area with hydrogen gas, though it might be a mess up and I'll have to do some more filling, but it'll be grand. Let's see, yeah, we're down to MCG down here as well. Slowly but surely this entire place is going to become a perfect vacuum. Is that gas escaping? No, can't make it past. Perfect. In that case, let's just keep digging. I'll cut back in once we've got a nice vacuum tunnel going on, or a vacuum chimney. Right, this is quite possibly the largest vacuum I've ever made. I don't remember ever having one this big before. That is a gargantuan vacuum all the way down the side of the map. Just nothing. All the way. Of course, I'm still going to have to fill this all with steam. And there's a few things I have to do before I can launch this. Well, one, I have to fuel it. It's not quite ready to be fully fueled yet because we haven't produced enough liquid oxygen and hydrogen, but we're getting there. We're getting there. This whole area is going to fill up with steam, very hot steam, which is what we want. We want hot steam so we can generate lots of power and hopefully siphon off a bunch of the steam. However, I need to keep that heat separated from the rest of the base, so what I'm going to have to do is use double liquid locks. This requires me to do some, well, I'm going to put a second liquid lock, say here, made out of visco gel, and then I'll have a vacuum gap in the middles, and that will give me my perfect seal to keep all the heat in here. However, I then had to do another visco gel lock here, but I've got a temperature shift plate hooked up to it. The reason being, I need that temperature shift plate to dump temperature into the visco gel. Otherwise, the moment that door opens, the steam will rush in, hit the visco gel lock. The visco gel lock will be below 100 degrees, which means the steam will hit it, condense into water, and then that water will mess up the visco gel lock, and then the whole thing will get broken. So I need to make this, I need to be pretty careful here, just to do this right. So we need to put in a visco gel lock there, and then, yeah, close all these doors. I've already put some bands on a bunch of these so that no dupes can get in or out, just to make sure that this vacuum doesn't get broken. This took a while to make. Anyway, I'm just going to skip this forward while I rebuild, well, build a few more permanent visco gel locks that I can ensure won't get damaged when steam gets in here. Right, that should be a decent lock. Okay. I'm going a little bit overboard here, but I want to make sure that once I get this up and running, which is going to take a while, but once it's up and running, it should generate us lots of power and should be almost self-sustainable in water. Though the water one I'm not so sure about. I haven't tested this in, I think I tested this in like January or February last year, or, well, 2019. About a year ago. I tested this about a year ago, and it generates about 1,850 kilos of water on launch and landing combined. The two of them combined, about 1,850. But the water only seems to be generated once it hits a certain point. Like once the rocket goes from here to here, it generates water, but once it's beyond that point, it just generates heat. And it's the heat we're trying to stretch out with this giant rocket silo. Anyway, yeah, that seems to have worked. Now all I got to do is strip out all these gas pumps I stuck in to get the vacuum going on. I left them till last because, you know, there's always that chance you're going to break your seals. So anyway, I'll remove all these gas pumps anyway, and we'll see and once that's done, oh, yeah, save time. Perfect timing. I have sealed in all of these so that all the locks well, I don't have enough visco gel to make all the locks just yet. We'll get around to it. So any ones that I don't have the visco gel for, I'm just going to seal off with insulated tiles. Oh, why is that there? I set up the automation, didn't I? Yep, I did. Up the top here, I installed a space scanner, and that space scanner is hooked up to the doors. So it goes up here, it goes and hooks up to those two doors in those sections. Oh, I'm going to have to seal this in as well. There's going to be some ladders and things left in here, but I'm going to have to get rid of those later. For the time being, I just want to get a launch and proof of concept underway. For this, though, this is going to be set to, yeah, Santa's sleigh. That's what I've decided to call the rocket because yeah, why not? It's going to be called Santa's sleigh. It seems like a reasonably decent name. Anyway, that will do all of that. That means we can dig out the bottom down here, which I also got to change the name of the astronaut that's in there. I mean, they're doing Santa's work, so they need a Santa-type name, you know? Who have we got in here at the moment? We have Ari. Well, Ari, you need a different name. Let's see if we can't find you and rename you. Oh, wait, can you rename them when they're in rockets? No. Okay, so I'm going to have to get them out of the rocket to rename them, and normally I wouldn't care, but, you know, it's Christmas. We got to take out all the stops for this. That's right. We're building up a platform just to let the duplicant out, just so that we can rename the duplicant something more Santa-like. Anyway, we'll get them out of there. Oh, and I should also put in the automation while I'm here. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. I was going to have to do this anyway, it seems, wasn't I? Automation done. That means all we have to do is find Ari here. Where are you, Ari? Let's give you a new name. You're going to be... Santa's Little Helper is probably the best one. Oh, wait, no, Rudolph. Rudolph it is. So you will be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Dupe? Why not? That will work for me. So Rudolph, get back in Santa's sleigh, and we're going to send you off on a little round trip. Now, done, dusted. Once they're in there. Now, I do have some random gunk in here that's going to be a bit of a problem. For example, there's ladders and things I'm going to have to remove at a later date. But for the time being, I need to make sure that this whole thing will heat up and work. I want to find out exactly how hot it's going to get in here. I'm going to have to determine how much steam I'm going to need in here, how much gas pressure I can leave behind, all that kind of stuff. Right, well, we'll deconstruct the gantry. We don't want that getting in the way. All those ladder segments we can leave in. How are we looking all the way up? we're actually looking pretty good all the way up. The only thing that's left for me to do, well, barring that, is to run an automation wire the rest of the distance. I have an on-off button down the bottom, so yeah, let's use a lead wire. We're going to need a little bit of an automation run. I think this is, yep, this is also going to be the longest automation wire I've ever ran. Or, well, at least the longest distance I've ever ran one. Boom, there we go. Yeah, once that's all done, we should be soon getting our hydrogen online. How's our hydrogen looking? Oh, God, no. Never mind. I'm going to skip this forward until we've got some hydrogen and we're ready to launch this sucker. In the meantime, I'll just probably add on a few more visco gel liquid locks as the materials become available from space. Enough dilly-dallying. We've managed to get enough hydrogen, I think, that we can just fill up this rocket. I want to get at least one launch underway right now, just so I can start getting an idea for how this is going to play out. That's set to 950. We've currently got, you know what, we'll say, yeah, 750. That should give us more than enough hydrogen. To be extra careful, like all these pipes are made of ceramic, but the ones in here I replaced with insulation. Well, most of them. I couldn't replace all of them. I ran out of insulation here, so I've got 1, 2, 3 pipe segments made out of ceramic. And my fervent hope is that it doesn't break the seals here. If it does, that would be a problem. I don't want those Whoa. Did I have that left on? Yes, I did have that left on. Damn it! I wanted to see that in a slower turn of pace. From what you can see here, the steam has started to fill the area. Let's have a quick look at that. Once you hit about here, you'll notice it's outstripping the steam. The steam is, okay, it's slowly following it up, but that's actually just the steam pressure. It's not coming from the engine itself. Temperature-wise, though, yeah, it's getting a bit toasty in there. 2,000 degrees. That's an awful, awful, awful lot of steam. So the steam... Maybe it is still generating steam behind it. What do we know? We're down to 1 kilo down there. Over here, we're looking at... half a kilo. 2 kilos. Half a kilo. As this goes up and up and up, and I think we're still generating 1 kilo of water behind it, are we? Okay, that is glorious. Dear Lord, that looks perfect. That is excellent. Now, the hard part is we got to worry about the steam escaping at the top. So immediately once the rocket is out of sight, this should detect that the Santa sleigh is gone, send the close signal, but then we got to wait like 40 seconds for it to... Oh, what? Why is there no power to you? Why is there no power to you? This is why you need proof of concept. Yeah, we got wires all the way down here. Those wires are connected in there. Those wires are connected in there. Those wires go all the way down here. How did you break? It shouldn't have been possible. Oh. This... Wow. Okay. I may have made some slight miscalculations on those visco gel locks. They appear to have incinerated because they came in contact with too much steam. Turns out the ones near the bottom, not so good. The incinerated visco locks sever the power lines. Oops, I suppose. Yeah, oops is probably the best thing I got for that one. Steam-wise, there is some very rather hot steam in here. Though the pressure is pretty low. I think my best bet is to dump more water in here and actually... Dear Lord. Some of it's hitting the sides. So a bunch of it's hitting the sides, and this will cool down a bunch of the steam. Some of the steam is going to be lost at the top. I can't help that. I'm going to have to just try and seal it up behind. There is a chance I could just run some supercoolant across the top and condense the water, but I don't really want to do that. It seems like wasteful. Instead, what we're going to do is try and seal it up. Yeah, how much steam pressure did we manage to keep? About a 0.4 of a kilo all the way around. Now I just need to figure out a way to hook up steam turbines to this to extract the temperature. I'm thinking the simplest plan is probably down here. This one is... Let me think about this for a second. I'm on a limited time frame here, so I immediately just mopped up all that mess and insulated it off. We've got too much hot steam to work with in here. I've turned off the relaunch, so the moment the rocket comes back and lands, we are not letting it out of here again. I'm interested to see how hot the steam is going to get on the return and how much we can condense in here. I'd like to keep this, well, the theory was if I kept this at about 10 kilos of steam, the heat would get diluted on launch and landing so that it would not spike the temperature too much. So if it doesn't spike the temperature too much, then it'd be much easier to work with. It's going up to 400 or 500 degrees. That's going to cause some problems. What we're going to do here is we're going to build in a little system in here to siphon off some of the heat. And how did... Oh my god, sour gas ended up in here. Damn it, after all the effort I went to vacuum the place out. Oh, I can get a termium gas pump in there or something to get rid of it later if needs be. Down here, we're going to try building a little steam turbine setup and hopefully siphoning off that heat. This is going to be a very simple heat draining solution. My plan is to build multiple ones all the way up along the rocket chimney. So all we're doing is bottom layer of petroleum, then just stick in a couple of different liquid types. What we're going to put in here, was it polluted water? Yeah, we'll show in some polluted water, and then we'll throw in some clean water on top of that, just to get ourselves a nice seal in here so that there's no other gases. Where we got water? There we go, boom. Enable auto bottle, and enable auto bottle. And that should be the end of that. That should force out all the gases, and we should have a nice clean area where we can generate our power from. Just got a temperature sensor here that's hooked up to a steel door. Steel door is... Clean water came first. Well, that should be okay, probably. How did that... What? Why? Why did it do that? It just blonked down here and then immediately overflowed. Again, I presume there was some gas pressure in the way somewhere. You know what? We will mop up the rest of that. What's the gases looking like down here? You know, there's only one type of gas. It should immediately just flow straight down here and displace any of the stuff that's in the way. Assuming we get some polluted water in there. But, yep, this temperature sensor will detect if it's too chilly in here. If it is, it will close these doors, engage, and dump temperature in here. I'm going to move in the other side and put in a temperature sensor, or a temperature shift plate to help force heat into this. And that should hopefully start draining heat out of this area. Ooh. How are we looking? Wow, okay, we got lots more steam to work with now. There was 0.4 of a kilo on average. Now we're... No, not as much near the top. And we've destroyed the bunker doors, because of course we have. I'm going to have to go up those there and repair those, aren't I? Which means I'm going to have to make sure this stays intact. Okay, no, worry about that later. Doors are now closed because that lost power. There was no power going to that, so that thing didn't work. Why is that no power now? Come on. Oh, this liquid lock went as well. Okay, I'm going to have to start replacing those with iron if they pass through any of the liquid lock places. Yeah. Well, it's not launching again. We've turned off the automation. I'll finish this off, get the siphoning and going. Once the siphoning is going, we'll launch a rocket again. After we make sure to take care of some of these side inefficiencies that are causing problems, like this one here. Ah, no. No, I can see it happening. The naphtha just dribbled right in. Oh, Merry Christmas. Anyway, I'll do some tidying up on the side here. After a lot of cleaning up, I even had to dump in some ice temperature shift plates just to get the steam to condense. It's a little hot in here. Well, a little warmer than it was. After all of that mess is cleaned up, we can finally start getting this together. Once this is done, though, I want to try and make this copyable, so I can copy paste it all the way up the chamber and just start siphoning off the heat. What's it stabilizing in here? About 500 degrees. I did have to let my... Oh, where's it? This also needs to go. Yeah, you're going to be draining heat out of here. I don't want you doing that. I'm going to have to let my dupes in the top so they could repair the bunker doors. So I think I have finally managed to restore power. Once that diamond is out of the way, we're definitely sealing that off. That should stop all that temperature leaking out of there. And there's carbon dioxide in here. I don't know if this is meteors or what's going on that caused that. I think it might be meteors, because we've got a big blob of regolith down here, and there's no way that fell straight down. It couldn't have. So a meteor would have had to come in here at an angle and land it. That's probably where the carbon dioxide is going to come from. So I'm going to need some way of siphoning that out the bottom. Proof of concept, more proof of concept. And there's carbon dioxide up at the top as well. But steam pressure-wise, yeah, I'm liking it. We have plenty of steam pressure. That's just one launch. Yeah, a few more of these, and I think we can generate a decent amount of power. Yeah, I'm gonna fill this up. There's salt water down here in the second layer. We're gonna put clean water on the top, and then we're gonna throw on a steam turbine on top of that. Perfect. No more steam and no more gases in there. We can just seal this sucker up and be done with it. Once they're in place, we can deconstruct these, put in our turbine, and we're good to go. Right, now we can start firing this up. If the temperature is above, 190 degrees, then you can disengage the door. That should inject temperature in here. Now, it's not going to be perfect. We're pulling it out of these bunker tiles, and yeah, we're down near the bottom here, and that carbon dioxide is settled, so that's going to be a problem. This is not going to make this the most efficient one, but wow, it does actually heat it up pretty quickly. Yeah, boom, I'm going to need to install cooling for the steam turbine as well. Otherwise, it's going to overheat rather rapidly, but damn, that turned on quick. But that means we're draining temperature out of the bottom of this rocket silo. Okay, that came on surprisingly quickly. Now I need to think of how I'm going to siphon the power out of this and how I'm going to inject cooling, because I need to inject cooling or the steam turbine is going to start overheating. I have taken a multi-prong approach to the cooling. One, I'm sucking out all the other gases around here, all the sour gas, the carbon dioxide, all that stuff. I'm dumping that into this gas pump, and that's dumping it all the way over into our cryo brick over here, where it instantly just solidifies and becomes not a problem. For infinite gas storage, just, I don't need to use any exploits or cheats or any kind of modifications or even door compressors. I can just freeze it solid until it turns into solid chunks and I can compress it on one tile. Still probably an exploit though, really, when you think about it, but it's one working well within the game mechanics, and I'm paying the cost for it. Second one is I've got this little setup here for doing cooling. Oh, you know what? We might want to, no, we won't seal this in just yet. So what's going on here is the supercoolant is coming across here. It's getting cooled down and going around the system. It's just a normal cooling loop, but we've got a nice big tank of supercoolant here to act as a buffer. The reason we want that giant tank of supercoolant is we're going to start extending this. We're going to start extending this a lot. So let's see this design here. I've blueprinted it. So we can take that blueprint and let's just say put another one right there. Yeah, I think that seems like a good idea. A bunch of it can't go in because there's parts missing, but let's say get rid of those two. Yeah, and make a few minor modifications, and I think we can get this to work. Alright, so I made a new blueprint, but this blueprint is going to be of this setup. This is what I sort of need to start off, because this at least can be built by my duplicates and doesn't become a huge problem instantly. Now I can maybe add in a few more bits and pieces. Oh, we can get rid of that. So we can stick in the bottle emptiers up here, and those bottle emptiers will allow us to fill it up with the necessary ingredients so that we can basically replicate this exact setup down here, just a few tiles above it. Also, all the plumbing's been put in as well, so we can pump in cooling straight away, and we can dump the cooling straight through here and then dump it back over. How much supercoolant have we already got in there? No, we still need more. We're probably going to need several tons of that stuff. And boom, problem solved. Oh, one thing. Close the door. And open it again. Yes, now that will stop temperature transfer. That's good, because that was starting to get kind of toasty around here. Anyway, we've got all the rest of that done. So seal that up. And we can start putting in all the liquids we need to get this sorted. Boom. One more mounted on top of the other. So now we can drain even more heat out of this section. Let's just copy paste the settings. Boom. That'll engage the doors. I'm going to have to go in here and do some modifications. Inside that door needs to go and be replaced with a bunker tile. But yeah, there's no rush on that. However, we do need to get these pipes hooked up. So that pipe can go there. That pipe can go there. And we can cancel any of that gunk that might want to try and get in the way. Then we also have the pliers utility to disconnect. Once that is in place, we can use the pliers to just move all the liquids to where we want them. All right, that's that done. Finished that. Deconstruct. Boom. Now we have 2 steam turbines hooked up. And I've also hooked them into the main grid. So that's the first 2. First 2 steam turbines. That'll help siphon out the heat out of here. I may need to run some supercoolant loops through here to help drain the temperature better. But this is going to be the general idea. Lots of these the whole way up the rocket silo. We should be able to generate an enormous amount of heat doing this. Though, I think we've taken all the heat out of that carbon dioxide. Yeah, that carbon dioxide needs to be siphoned out of there. No. First, we want to drain some more heat out of the steam, because, as you can see, the further away we go from the base, it's getting hotter all the way up. We're at, 500 degrees up here? Keep going up. Yeah, it's a little bit chillier at the top. Oh, that's because the temperature at the drywall. Anyway, let's just maybe skip forward a bit while we install an awful lot of these, or as much as I have time to do anyway. Well, squeezing things in here was a little bit difficult. The reason being there's a bunch of liquid oxygen and hydrogen passing through here, so I can't really tap into this. Should have really thought ahead on that front. But, new design, new play thought, and this is really more of proof of concept. Anyway, these 2 up and running fine. I've installed a third one up here that I'm about to switch on. I've just hooked up the supercoolant loop. So the supercoolant loop is coming up here, cooling down this area, and then coming all the way back down. These are just copy-paste jobbies as well, so they're pretty handy to do. Now let's turn this sucker on. What do we set this to if it's above 190? That should engage the doors. Doors should start pulling steam out of the... Wow, that's quick. Like, that immediately just goes, yeah, we're good. Let's just start producing steam. Done. And now we have another one. I've also got that. That's also connected into the main grid. This should be quite handy. Once we've got, say, another dozen of these installed, we should be able to generate absolutely gargantuan amounts of power out of this. I don't know if it'll last for the full 3 days, but there's things we can do to increase the power output of this if needs be. We can double it if we want to. Maybe even triple it. I don't know. There's things we can try. You know what? Well, I'll put in another one or two of these, but I'm starting to run out of time. I got to get this episode out. So I'll put in maybe another one or two, then we'll launch another rocket and see how the steam turbines handle the heat. All right, a few more in place, and I haven't quite gone up the whole way. There's so much to do. Think of the amount of power I'm going to have to siphon out of this, or the amount of heat. Okay, we're still going. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a lot of steam turbines. It's going to be hours and hours of putting them in. But it's Christmas, so let's try and get some of the funner stuff out of the way. Right, we got these going in down here. Once these are in, I want to get rid of that. That's going to cause... that there needs to go and be replaced. We can replace that with some bunker tiles, get this whole place cleaned up, and then we can fire the rockets off again. Right, all of it's done. We've got I've put in a few temperature shift plates here made of granite. I don't know if they're going to melt or not, but I thought it was worth the risk. Though the carbon dioxide is becoming a problem, it's definitely infiltrated quite a lot of the rocket chimney. You see loads of it here is full of carbon dioxide, and it's forced the steam up to the top. I've put in some gas pumps down the bottom, just one. And that gas pump down there, all the way down here, is hooked up to a couple of sensors. If it detects that the area down here is just full of carbon dioxide, it'll pump it out. So on launch and landing, it probably won't detect much. But in between, it should be able to pick some stuff up. Now, let's see what happens if we launch this next rocket. I want to see how much heat we can get out of this. We done... that should start opening the doors, automation sensors. Oh, I had to rewire everything to go around these. It turns out I'd put the power straight through here. I'd put the power, I'd put the automation wires, I'd put everything straight through there. And that needs to go up there. I want to make sure all those steam turbines are connected up. Yeah, perfect. So all the power, automation wires, everything, it all went up the sides. Now, that is all configured. Everything's ready to go. I think it's time we launch this sucker. Come on, let's see what happens. So I forgot to empty it. That's why the rocket wouldn't launch. It still had a full cargo bay. So we're just going to dump all of that right here. I don't really care. It's not a big deal. We'll deconstruct the gantry and yeah, we'll get ready to launch this again. All right, ready to launch. Let's see what kind of heat trails we get out of this sucker this time. That should launch. That should change the automation wires to green. Doors at the top should start to open. Then the rocket should fire. Perfect. Let's see what the temperatures are looking like right about now. Oh yes, they're all red. That's the wonderful thing about the temperature sensors on this. It's always red. Oh, and the regolith shows up just in time to get incinerated. Perfect. Oop, yeah, let's see how much steam we got. Steam pressure's going up. All the steam turbines should be now kicking into high gear with all of that lovely, lovely tasty heat going past them. Nice. Too much carbon dioxide though. This can't all be from the meters, is it? There's just so much of it. I once made a carbon dioxide catcher. Was it a carbon sink to capture meteor carbon dioxide? And it definitely did produce a lot. It could capture about 4 kilos per second, but not in an area this tiny. Yeah, well, that's that done. Now the door should close and trap in all the remaining carbon dioxide and steam. I'm going to have to pump all that steam out, aren't I? Doors closing. Anytime now? Anytime? There we go. So once the doors are closed, they'll capture in all the steam. Everything's good. Let's see how our little steam turbine setups are doing. Well, would you look at you, just chugging away. 600 watts out of you. You're giving us another 410. You're giving us 400. What do we got down here at the bottom? 800 watts from you and 252. Only 252? Why are you so low? You're right down at the bottom. You should be swimming in temperature. Okay, that worked out pretty good. Temperatures down here, though, do hit 500 degrees. I might want to let this steam consolidate a little bit more. But I'm going to call that a win. As for Santa's chimney, I think he's got a decent one. My duplicants should definitely get some presents this year. What are you all doing? You're all hanging around a couple of stickers. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, I hope they get their Christmas wishes. I hope you get your Christmas wishes as well. And I hope you enjoyed this and good luck.